Hello there. I am the real life fake wizard. Project Hail Mary is, by most accounts, one of the best science fiction films in recent memory. Ryan Gosling plays Ryland Grace, a man who wakes up alone on a spacecraft with no memory of who he is or why he's there. He's light years from Earth. Humanity is on the edge of extinction, and he is, as far as he knows, the only person left who can do anything about it. That's the idea. And on that premise alone, that's enough to get me interested in seeing this film. Like, how can one dude on a spaceship stop a star from dying? How could this possibly play out? It's more than enough to sell a movie. But of course, even in this rare instance that this is a genuinely good film in the cinemas and it's worth your ticket price of admission, Hollywood will find a way to screw it up somehow. There are 5 people ruining entertainment: corporate executives, writers, journalists, and content creators who shill for them, and of course, marketers. In this case, Project Hail Mary is a great movie that is undermined by marketers that should lose their jobs. If you watch the trailer before seeing the film, you'll discover that there is a glaring spoiler in the trailer that saps a form of immersion out of the film. If you haven't seen the trailer and you want to see this movie, now is the time. Go to see the film and then come back and watch this video, as I myself need to spoil it to discuss how the trailer spoiled it. We're in spoilerception here, okay? All right, let's go. Yeah, the marketing thought it was a good idea to reveal that Rocky was in the film. A massive part of this film is the revelation that Ryan Gosling's character is not alone in space the whole time. At the end of Act 1, Grace comes face to face with Rocky, a 5-limbed rock-like alien engineer with no face, on the same mission that Grace is on, but for his solar system. The movie, up until this point, had not revealed that there would be aliens present. The introduction of one and the process of seeing Grace come to terms with the fact aliens are real, combined with needing to work together with this alien to overcome their challenges, is something all audiences should have gotten to experience while sitting in the theater watching the film. Knowing that Rocky would be in the film because the trailer spoiled it cheapens what deserved to be a genuine surprise that furthered immersion. But no, Rocky's in the trailers. The marketing department just couldn't help themselves here. So why keep doing this? Why do marketing departments keep stuffing entire movies into 3-minute trailers? Because this isn't just a Project Hail Mary issue. This is a systemic problem in movie marketing, and we need to investigate it. Today's indie game shoutout is Oh Where. Sow the seeds of victory, forge alliances, and carve your own destiny in this roguelike where every marble shapes the board and your fate. Every pit is a choice and every marble a desperate prayer. To learn more about this and hundreds of other indie games, visit our free indie game discovery network, fakeportal.com, or scan the QR code on your screen. Now back to the video. Who actually makes trailers, and why does it matter? Well, there's a structural problem to trailer development. Most audiences assume the people who made the film also made the trailer. This is not the case, at least most of the time. Trailers are promotional tools produced at the request of the distributor, usually by specialist trailer companies staffed with editors who may have never met the director, never read the full script, and have as little as 2 days to cut together a campaign for a film they haven't seen as a completed work. The director of the film generally has zero final say over what is going to be in the trailer, despite having 2 years of experience actually building the emotional architecture of the film. Only filmmakers with impressive contractual leverage get any kind of meaningful input on the trailer. For instance, The Dark Knight Rises. Christopher Nolan only sent about 40 minutes of total footage to the trailer house for trailer production. This is widely considered an outlier, by the way. For the rest of the industry, directors see a trailer the same way we do after it's already cut. On its own, this is a problem already, but it gets worse. Hang in there, because movie trailers are tested before they're shipped out to the public. Meaning, lots of people saw the trailer, gave it a thumbs up, and the result we get spoils, detracts from, or outright ruins movies today. Test audiences, you guys, are just plain poison now. Studios show dozens of trailer variants to focus groups composed of general audiences and normies, not dedicated fans and not active moviegoers. The response from these normie test groups quite often boils down to they want more. They want more action, more dramatic beats, more plot, more reveals, and all of it needs to be in the trailer. Quote, 9 times out of 10, the more of the plot you give away, the more interest you garner from audiences. The tell-all trailer, which many of you would recognize as the trailer that gives away the entire movie because it has scenes from all 3 acts, is now considered the standard and has never been seriously challenged. As I said, it's a structural trap. People deciding what gets into the trailer are optimizing for the least engaged segment of the audience at the direct expense of everyone else. We got this directly from Jason Blum himself, who said outright, quote, "The trailer really isn't for those people that are so tuned in. It's for people who are kind of thinking they may or may not go. Moreover, the people who care most about the experience of a film are, by design, the people whose experience the marketing department is willing to sacrifice." I hate this industry. At the last layer of this dysfunction is the incentive structure. Marketing departments are evaluated on opening weekend performance, not total gross, not critical reception, not audience reception, not long-term franchise growth, not repeat viewership either. If a film opens big, marketing declares victory and moves on to the next project immediately. If the second weekend collapses, it's someone else's problem, not the marketing team's. Yeah, that's right. The trailer houses face 0 professional consequences when a film underperforms. They are hired again on the next project, regardless of their previous outcomes. There is no feedback loop. There is no accountability, and therefore there is no correctional mechanism. And so, because this system is flawed and the directors don't have much of a say, and the corporate executives believe it's more important to win new viewers at the cost of actual fans, nothing ever changes. And inside of that, directors and filmmakers cope. In the year 2000, Robert Zemeckis' Castaway with Tom Hanks revealed that Tom Hanks is rescued in the trailer, spoiling the end of this movie. When asked about this, Zemeckis compared movie marketing to fast food. Audiences want to know, quote, exactly everything that they are going to see before they go see the movie. The reason McDonald's is a tremendous success is that you don't have any surprises. The argument that cinema should aspire to be as predictable as the Quarter Pounder with cheese is part of the reason movie theaters are closing down all over the West. In the age of algorithmic distribution, the incentives have only gotten worse. Digital platforms like YouTube and TikTok use engagement metrics to determine visibility. Trailers with dramatic reveals and emotional highlights perform better algorithmically because they create manipulated emotional responses in the viewer. A surprise twist shown early has the potential to go viral, which means more people will see the trailer, which marketing firms believe will translate to more butts in seats on day 1. Studios, aware that spoilers will leak on Reddit and TikTok regardless, have adopted a kind of nihilistic logic to all of this. It's the idea that if someone is going to post the twist anyway, they'd rather be the one to do it and control which twist gets out. The algorithm rewards the behavior that damages the film. Now you might be saying, Wizard, what other trailers specifically spoiled the movie and that might have had a negative outcome for the film? Well, let's take a look. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 spoiled the entire movie in the trailers and promotional marketing and then was considered as underperforming by Sony executives. That killed the franchise. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Oh, Doomsday is in the trailer? Doomsday's in the movie. Okay, so Superman dies in the end, right? Yeah, Superman died in the end. This movie saw a 69% box office drop in weekend number 2. Ryan Gosling's Drive trailer was so misleading about the movie that there was a lady from Michigan that sued the distributor because the trailer made her think she was going to see something like Fast and Furious. And it wasn't. It also got thrown out, by the way. Very funny case there. Morbius, which might be the most humiliating marketing failure in modern cinema history. I mean, it's up there. It's competing with Madam Web. It had a trailer that was so bad, it got those millions of impressions that marketers wanted, and it spoiled most of the movie, but it did not get the box office results Sony wanted at all. Granted, I will say it's hard to make a good trailer when the movie is also terrible, but the trailer did zero favors for this film. And we can go on. There are lots to choose from, but I want to hear from you in the comments. What is your favorite trailer that spoiled the movie? Now, unlike what corporate executives and Robert Zemeckis might have you believe, there is a very strong counter-argument, counter-model to this, and it is demonstrably profitable. Hereditary was produced for around $10 million and earned over $83 million, an 8 times gross return on investment. Everything Everywhere All at Once grossed more than $140 million worldwide on a $14 million budget, a 10 times return. Longlegs from Neon, a horror movie with Nick Cage, grossed $127 million worldwide on a $10 million budget. All 3 of these trailers and plenty more that follow this counter model hardly give away what the full movie is going to be. There's not a lot of spoilers to be had. It's enough to get you interested in going to see the film, and there seems to be plenty of returns from it. Compare this to something like Batman v Superman or Amazing Spider-Man 2, which spoiled the entire movie and gave people no reason to go back a second time, or even a first time. The solution here is simple. Restrained marketing on smaller films is producing better results than the bloated, spoiler-saturated campaigns on tentpole blockbusters. The counter model works, and the data is all public on this, yet nobody at the major studios cares. Because here's the real question that no one in Hollywood marketing wants to answer. If spoiler-heavy trailers and $150 million marketing budgets are the key to selling movies, then why is the industry dying? I mean, sure, the movies themselves might not be the greatest things ever in the first place, but that would be a debate we could have after you've seen the movie. But people aren't even going to see movies anymore because not even the trailers can sell them. Movie marketers, bloated, obtuse, and oftentimes offensive marketing campaigns are done so with the promise that it sells tickets. That's the whole reason these bird brains have jobs. They sacrifice artistic experience for a commercial result. Okay, well, cool. That's the plan. Show me the results. Domestic box office attendance hit roughly 800 million tickets in 2024. Now, before the pandemic, that number was 1.3 billion tickets. This is nearly 40% of the audience gone from movies and not coming back. Domestic ticket revenue fell to $8.7 billion, which is a 23.5% drop from pre-pandemic levels. 2025 was supposed to be the comeback year. It wasn't. The domestic box office flatlined for 2 consecutive years against every prediction that it would recover. And the only reason the revenue numbers don't look worse is because ticket prices have risen 18% since 2019. Fewer people are going to the movies. The money just looks similar because tickets cost more. Strip away the price inflation and the actual audience crash is very concerning if you're paying attention at all. 5,700 movie screens have shut down. AMC, the largest theater chain in the world, has closed 213 locations since 2020 and recently announced it expects to keep closing more theaters than it opens. Regal Cinemas went through bankruptcy. Alamo Drafthouse went through bankruptcy. iPic just filed Chapter 11 in March of this year. Entire American cities are missing movie theaters. Personally, myself, I need to drive over 30 minutes each way to my nearest theater, which is a rundown piece of garbage Regal that smells like the E.T. ride at Universal. If you're at Universal, that mold smell is part of the experience. You feel like you're on another planet. When you're in my local Regal theater, it's also part of the experience, but in this case, it's a contributor to osteoporosis. These are the results that the marketing departments of Hollywood are presiding over. These are the outcomes of their strategies. Their entire defense is, we sell tickets. Except tickets aren't selling, theaters are closing, attendance is going away, and the marketing professionals who are supposed to be solving this problem are the ones that are creating it. But let's talk about how much money is being spent to produce these results. A typical Hollywood blockbuster with a $200 million production budget will spend another $100 to $150 million on marketing, sometimes more. The Barbie movie's total budget was roughly $300 million, with nearly half going to marketing. Avengers Endgame spent $200 million on marketing on top of its $356 million production budget. The Lion King remake reportedly spent over $150 million on marketing alone. Some films spend more money telling you the movie exists than they spent making the dang thing. Universal spent $20 million to make Five Nights at Freddy's and $60 million on the marketing campaign. That's 3 times the production budget. Think about what that means. The marketing department's budget frequently rivals or exceeds the director's. Studios are paying roughly the same amount of money to the people who spoil the film as they paid the people who made it. And in some cases, it's even more. These marketing departments have 9-figure war chests and the freedom to do whatever they want with them. I think there needs to be some accountability here, because this is insane. Now, you may win the box office weekend, but because the budgets on these movies are so otherworldly, movies need second, third, and fourth weekends now to break even and become profitable. Even blockbusters need repeat viewership. Avengers Endgame didn't become a $2.8 billion film because 280 million people each went once. It got there because tens of millions of people went back 2, 3, 4, and 5 times to see this thing. Endgame pulled in 85% more repeat business than Infinity War. For franchise films, repeat viewing accounts for roughly 25% of total ticket sales. That's actually massive. That's a quarter of the entire revenue of a film. Now ask yourself this: if a trailer has already shown you every major emotional beat, and then you sit in the theater, you see the film, and you're not shown anything new, well, now you've seen the best parts of this film twice already. You are now less inclined to go back to the theater a second time because you've seen the thing play out twice already. Why would you go back? You wouldn't. You're less inclined to. You're statistically less inclined to. You already saw the best parts. You saw them on your phone for free 3 months or so before the movie came out. Every trailer that shows the third act is a trailer that eliminates the reason to buy a second ticket. And marketing departments, who are only measured on opening weekend performance, will never care about this because repeat viewership isn't a metric. By the time the second weekend numbers come in, they've already moved on to the next big campaign. The long-term damage is someone else's problem. It always is. But think about this from a different angle. Could any other industry get away with this? Movie marketers are the only professionals in any creative industry who consistently, systematically, and deliberately devalue their own product and face no consequences for it. And we have barely scratched the surface on this marketers killing movies thing. We mostly just covered spoilers and trailers and how trailers kill movies, but like Mark Malkin, how does it feel to call Leo DiCaprio daddy? What the f*** are we doing here, man? I know he's a journalist, but he's an access media journalist. Like, this is marketing for a film, whether planned or not. Journalists are just salesmen who don't tell you they're salesmen. The marketing machine decided you needed to know Rocky was in Project Hail Mary before you sat down in theater. For that, your experience, like my experience with this film, was cheapened. And that's a shame, because this movie was really good, and I still recommend seeing it despite this. I recommend seeing it in theaters, and you could take the kids 12 and up. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney+. With this movie being an Amazon MGM film, and we know how much Amazon wants to compete in Hollywood, I now have a little more optimism about the new He-Man movie coming this summer. Guys, that could be a secret banger. Okay, bye-bye.